Hey everybody, Henry Gordon Smith here from Agritecture, and we are visiting Mishkat, a greenhouse and vertical farming company just on the outskirts of Jeddah. And I'm here with their newly appointed CEO to talk about their facilities, their journey, and what's coming next. How are you doing?
I'm great. Welcome to the farm. So my name is Sherif Hosny, as Henry said. I'm the new CEO of Mishkat. Mishkat is a farm here in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. It's actually one of a kind in the city. And I think in a radius of about maybe 500 kilometers, there's no such farm like this one here.
Yeah, it's one of the first hydroponic greenhouses, vertical farms. You also practiced organic practices early on, so lots of pioneering work. But you worked on agriculture before this, right? So tell us about your background, how you ended up in Mishkat, what you did before this.
So actually I founded a company about 12 years ago called Jeddah in Cairo, Egypt, my hometown. And it was focused on urban farming. So we started off with rooftop farming, and we were working with low-income communities, trying to increase their income through farming. It's a very exciting project, it's still going on. And we got introduced to Mishkat actually through you. I don't know if you know that or not.
There you go.
So yeah, my brother met you in the US.
I remember now, yes.
And you told him about Mishkat, and that's how we got introduced to them. And actually Mishkat invested in Jeddah about 4 years ago. And now we're thinking of joining forces, and that's how I came here. So I think we have a lot of exciting things happening in the future.
So, you know, when you have a new project like this in a new market, there's so many things you need to prove, the market, the technology, dealing with a difficult climate, new labor conditions. Now you've stepped in as CEO, what are some of the key things you saw that needed to be changed and that you're already implementing changes on?
So as you said, you know, we're implementing something that's never been done before. So growing in this kind of climate, some people think it's all like the desert, you know, people have done it in Abu Dhabi or whatever. Climate in Jeddah is very, very different. We have high humidity all year round. So a lot of the times we're dealing with problems and solving problems that have never been done before, never been solved before. So one of the big challenges here is cooling. So we had some issues in the cooling that we're working on now to change. We work with different consultants who help us with calculations. But in the end, we have to make our own decisions with our own engineering team. So that's, I think, one of the big challenges here. We found that actually the vertical farm makes a lot of sense here in Jeddah because no one can grow leafy greens all year round. So vertical farm is a really good investment for us. We're increasing the capacity there. We want to double actually the capacity in the next 2 months. So yeah, a lot of changes happening here and a lot of learnings over the past 2 years that we're now coming to fruition.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting to hear about, you know, the technology companies that are trying to work in this region. They have experience elsewhere, but the conditions on the ground, climate or otherwise, are just so different. And you know, we talked about some anecdotes, like sometimes you hire consultants or you talk to different consultants and each one will give you a different answer and they'll have a justification and defense for it. So how do you navigate that? How do you as a team navigate all of this challenging information, and how do you choose what to test? Because in the end you have to make your own test, whether it's a new variety or a new technique. How do you make those decisions?
So it's tough, you know, for us this whole farm is a prototype farm. So it's not a huge farm, but for us, you know, challenging and testing all of these different variables is really essential. And as you said, you know, sometimes even consultants can't give you the right answer. So that's what that's what we're testing here, and we hope to like have the knowledge and the learning to expand and do it elsewhere. And because even if you have the best technology, it doesn't mean it's going to work where you are. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's what we're about, I think. And that's the challenge, I think, for local companies. It's adapting technology. Even if you don't come up with it, but making it work in your conditions, that's the big challenge, and that's what we're working on.
Yeah, and that's, again, the pioneering aspect of this, is you're taking technologies, adapting it. You know, some of the cool things I've seen is that there's a lot of innovations here that actually have been crowdfunded from your laborers, right? They're the ones that are out there working, and they sort of come up with ideas to do things more efficiently, and you implement them, which I think is a really cool way to engage with laborers and let them be part of the process. But what about the market? You know, I think a lot of people talk about this region, oh, there's so many people, there's so much imports of food. What has it been like to deliver local, pesticide-free, organic, before product to the market? How does the market respond to that?
So when we first started, we started off with organic, and unfortunately we found that, you know, there's not a big demand for organic produce here in the region. We found that, you know, consumers value the idea of pesticide-free a lot more. and that's what we're focusing on. So all of our produce here is grown without any pesticides. We also introduced IPM, so we have a lot of different insects helping us. So we have like predator insects eating the harmful insects that eat the plants. We also have bumblebees who are helping us with the pollination, so they're also like our additional workers who are pollinating all of these lovely cherry tomatoes all year round, and they like it and they don't get tired. So, so that's I think one of the learnings is that pesticide free is really valued, and even for me as a consumer, when I think I don't want to eat something that has harmful pesticides, and that's what we're focusing on.
Yeah, definitely something I would care more about is were there pesticides sprayed on it or not, and is it local? That's I think something that matters to me. I care about the distance, especially with leafy green products or fruits and vegetables. You want the quality to be there. So you're in this new position, you're in this new leadership role, lots of challenges, lots of lessons from your past experience. What does the future look like for you, for Mishkat?
I'm going to get to that, but I want to get to the point of being local.
Sure.
Because when I first came here, I started seeing some of our customers and going to some of the warehouses here in Jeddah who are importing like twice a week vegetables and fruits from Europe and from all over the world. And the amount of waste is just insane. Versus us being here in Jeddah, it's just 45 minutes away from the city. So we know exactly what the demand is and we can deliver on that. So we're really reducing the waste by immense amounts. And that's something that even if consumers don't realize it, but they get much higher shelf lives and
Taste is also
taste is very different. So it's actually a really big thing for us. So talking about the future, we want to invest more in that. So we definitely want to grow on the vertical farm. We're thinking also of not just being in Jeddah for the vertical farm because we're already getting a lot of demand from other cities. So I think in the future we'll also consider having vertical farms at the different cities to cut out the transportation, which is also very expensive in leafy greens. So we have quite a bit of expansion plans. Maybe I won't tell you all of them now.
Yes, it's good to keep some mystery.
Yeah, some
so
surprises.
We got to
for
keep
next
them
time.
coming back. Well, I mean, thank you so much for your time, the tour. It's great to meet your team, to see the facility, see some of the changes, and wish you the best with this new role.
Thanks a lot, Henry. It's always a pleasure to have you, and especially because you were part of the initial phase of Mishkat. I think it's always going to be your farm. You're always welcome to come here anytime.
We're always excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Thanks a
Appreciate
lot.
that.